And as if that's not enough, many times the unions work in huge raises in your last year so you can find extra work and then apply that to your total pension. It's madness. Chris Christie in New Jersey, oh, this guy, he is in for a battle of his life. They're going to start showing everybody that's crying on TV. He's trying to battle the bloated pensions right now. Listen to this example from his out-of-control state. Listen to this.
One state retiree, 49 years old, paid over the course of his entire career a total of $124,000 towards his retirement pension and health benefits. What will we pay him? $3.3 million in pension payments over his life and nearly $500,000 for health care benefits. A total of $3.8 million on a $124,000 investment. Is that fair?
Imagine going to Vegas and putting down on the table $124,000 and it pays out $3.8 million. You go to Vegas, that can't happen. That can't happen. Maybe once in a blue moon, but the house never wins. And by the way, it's your house. It's your house. What kind of mathematics is this? Union members, do not be pissed at the United States. Do not be pissed at just the politicians. Don't be pissed at your neighbor. Look at your union leaders. They actually sold this to you and said it will never, ever happen any differently. No, that's reasonable. You can get that. Is that sustainable? Is that fair? It can't last. It starts with you. You have your own sweet pension deal. And you say, no, no, not mine, somebody else's. But if you're not, somebody else isn't either. They're not willing to do it. And then there's another person, another person, another person. We must be a nation of laws and not of men. We can't say one union gets it and the other union doesn't. Politicians allowed this system to get set up. But we were playing their game. We're voting the same guys in over and over again. How many of us looked at the pensions and said, that doesn't make any sense? We have to be able to reconnect with common sense. So far, I haven't been able to see anybody do it. You must be willing to stand up and say, it has been a great ride. Man, I know I've been working and I wanted to get this, but that's unreasonable. The ride is over. Just like Tiger, we felt entitled, and you probably do now. I'm entitled to that. I was promised this. You were lied to. You were lied to. He got his. How come I can't get mine? Let me take you to Oprah Winfrey. Do you remember when she built that big school for kids in Africa? Do you have the picture? There she is. Do you remember this? Did anybody wonder why she didn't build it here in America? Well, somebody did. That very question was asked, and here's what she said. She said, there is this sort of desperate yearning to know better and do better that you just don't have in the United States. When did we become those people? You don't have it because the opportunity has always been there. It has not always been there. That's another lie. We've just assumed that big government will be there for us every step of the way. Well, I hate to be the Friday buzzkill, America, but it's not going to be there. It's never always been there. I'm going to give you the history of it here in a little while. America has been recklessly spending in the last few decades, and it's catching up to us. We knew it. How many times have they been saying, Social Security, it's out of control, it's not going to be able to make it, it's going to go bankrupt? Don't act surprised now. We have two choices to make. Do we fundamentally transform America into a Marxist, spread the wealth, cradle to grave, nobody gets a boo-boo nanny state? And as we have seen in country after country after country, that is only sustainable through the barrel of a gun. Or do we come to our senses and realizing that spending and taxing kills everything? Stop with the pensions, literally paying out 30 times on what somebody pays into them. The founders designed a country that has created more prosperity, more peace, and overall goodwill than any other nation in the history of the world. we became complacent. We thought it would always be like this. I'm with you. I used to do that. I didn't even know what progressive meant 2-3 years ago. I didn't know why you could vote for one party and you'd seem to get exactly what was happening in the other party. It's progressives. They started 100 years ago and steered us into this course. And those progressive mistakes are about to catch up with us. The party is over. It's been fun, but it's over. It's time to do the right thing so our children, they're not going to have necessarily a party, but at least they can have some cake. We have to be willing to make sacrifices of our own. You know, we build these Taj Mahal, these palaces for schools. Why do we need those? I hate to go all the way back to this, and I know it's a TV show, but I was in love with Laura Ingalls. You remember Little House on the Prairie? Or actually, it was Mary. That was Mary Ingalls, right? I mean, this is the way people used to live. You remember their schoolhouse? How about Spanky and Our Gang? I know, they're movies. These were our parents or our grandparents. They didn't always get everything they wanted. They didn't have everything handed to them on a silver platter. They survived. In fact, this is the greatest American generation. We can do it without big government and fancy houses and everything else. Yeah, it might be tough. I mean, since when has the tough thing become just a burden? Take your mom and dad. Our moms and dads, they cared for us. They changed our diapers. They fed us. They raised us. But now so many of us wouldn't even consider taking them in, that they're old and frail. I mean, I understand that, you know, sometimes you can't do it because it's too difficult. But I mean, sure, they smell weird and they suck on Werther's Originals all day, but they're our parents. I went over to a friend's house the other day. He was taking care of his mom. I had a hard time because I saw the pain in his eyes as he watches his mom get older. I remember his mom when she wasn't so old. But I also saw something else in the eyes of his mother. I saw gratitude in his mom's eyes. No government program can ever replace that. No other program can ever give you that. Sure, they can prop us up for a while. They can pay for some of our things, make life maybe a little bit easier. But easier isn't better. The greatest American generation, they're not called great because it was easy. Our grandparents didn't eat large sandwiches and ration food and win World War II because it was easy, fun, free, or fair. Can you imagine landing on the beaches of Omaha? What the hell do you have to do with these people over here, you must have thought? They did it because it had to be done. Things in America must be done. We must find the leaders that can lead us and help us and reassure us that we're going to be okay. It's just going to be tough. We have to make a choice. We're either going to be restored or fundamentally transformed. It's one of those two, but only one ends in real freedom. The one that takes the hard work and the sacrifice, that one is the one worth doing. Back in a minute. All right, the Pew Center on the States just put out a report on state pensions called the $1 Trillion Gap. I'm going to show you the numbers here. First, look at this. This is in the year 2000. States with fully funded pensions, okay? 26 had fully funded pension systems, just over half. Really? That little? This is back in the days of the internet millionaires. Still, only half the states had their pensions fully funded. Now look, 2006, the number has shrunk to 6 states. 2008, 4 states. Why? Pew says there's now a $1 trillion gap between what the states promised to pay and what they actually set aside. I'm going to show you Illinois. In January, the state sold $3.5 billion of pension obligation notes, which means Illinois borrowed money to finance the state's contribution to its 5 retirement systems. Here they are. Ready? They borrowed to pay the teachers' retirement. They borrowed to pay the state university's retirement. They borrowed state employees. How about the judges? How about the Illinois General Assembly? They borrowed. Let's call this what it is. This is a bailout for the government. Remember how you felt when we bailed out the banks and the car companies and everybody was furious? Where's the outrage over this? These are public employees.